Happy Monday, Nasties. How you doing on this wonderful Monday afternoon? The temperature's getting warmer. It's going to be nice all week. The Oilers are rolling. The Elks have a new head coach, Gage, and on Wednesday we get the Four Nations roster. If they were smart, they would have listened to us, and we're going to do our forwards tomorrow, just the day before.
All right.
But a fun show coming up here on Edmonton Sports Talk, EST Afternoons. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas, and our lovely producer, Coob Nation, behind the camera and the screens with us. As always, fun show coming up today at 1:20. Ed Hervey, Elks VP of Football Operations and General Manager, will join us as we'll talk about the hiring of Mark Kilam. At 1:40, Matthew Iwanyk. He'll break it down as well, as he's a big Elks guy, and he does the pre and post, the green and gold pre and post game shows for the Edmonton Elks during the season. At 2:20, Rob Maver, former Calgary Stampeder. He was the punter there for a decade or so. He played a lot for Mark Kilam. He wrote a piece on 3 Down Nation talking about the coach, so we're going to get some good insight on who Mark Kilam is, Gager. So a fun show. 1:20, Ed Hervey coming up here with Gager and myself. We'll also do highlights, lowlights. We have to move it around, but we'll probably do it in the second hour as the Edmonton Oilers on a 3-game win streak. A very impressive win on Saturday. But Gager, we got to start it off with, how was your weekend, my man? I know it was your daughter's big birthday. You were pretty busy over the weekend. What was shaking?
I can't remember. Maybe that's a good thing.
How much did you drink?
It was not that much. It was good. It was good. She, it was tough on my wife a little bit. I think just the maturation process of having. She's the baby, right?
Yeah.
She's my second, so she's 16 now. And my wife was a little bit worried because we were working, and on her actual birthday, we didn't actually do too much. But she had she went for dinner with her friends.
Yeah.
She's 16. I was trying to tell my wife, look, we're beyond jumpy castles and Lego here.
Yes.
And making gingerbread houses. She probably really doesn't want to hang out with her. And the fact that she still does at times is great, right? But she wanted to hang out with her friend, I think, for the most part. And she got a bunch of new outfits and things, but no, it was good. And then last night we had the big, huge, like my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and then my daughter, combined birthday dinners. So,
nice.
Yeah, that was good.
Good stuff. Like always, you can hit us up on the EdmontonSportsTalk.com if you want to listen, or tune in iHeartRadio app. If you want to watch us, the EST YouTube channel, hit us up on the Nasty Chat. I see a bunch of messages already. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up for us. We're at 15 right now. Let's get to 100 to kick off the week. It's fun times in Edmonton. New coach for the football team. The hockey team's finding their groove. Exciting times. Text us 780-218-9999. Gager, we were all watching the press conference together, man. That's... I mean, from Chris Morris to Ed Hervey to this guy, there's a lot of energy in that room, man.
There is. There's tons, man. And it's, I mean, is it bad? I don't know if it's bad or good, because now I'm, okay, well, let's see it. I want to see it. And we have to wait so long.
I know.
For it to start. So I hate to say, part of me, I'm done with these press conferences, buddy. I want to see
the roster.
Yeah, let's start putting stuff together. Let's get some cameras down at rookie camp and see what's going on. And I know we're a ways away from it, but I'm done with the talk. It's time to and they've all said the right things. Everyone gets fired up, and I think it's good. It provides a little bit more excitement towards the season, because look, just what I say, I'm ready for the season to start next week. But that's when the rubber really hits the road.
I like Mark Kilam. I've known him for a lot of years, like not personally, but I know who he is. He's been with the Stampeders for 2 decades, right? Lethbridge guy, played at the U of A. He's home. I think he said his sister-in-law is a season ticket holder here, so they're pumped to be here. What I liked about him, and I always like this with professional athletes and coaches or whatever, is that you're not afraid to be emotional, and you can tell there he got emotional talking about his family.
Yeah, no, I wasn't here. I heard it on the radio as I was coming in, and he was like, "Whoa, where'd that come from?" So that's to me, that's a good sign. That's someone who cares, right? Yeah. And he's excited about this first chance opportunity to take over the Edmonton Elks and go from there.
And the big thing for me, and when he did get emotional, was like how much players have come to rave about him on social media.
Yeah.
Like
no,
Rob,
that's-
the guy we're gonna have, Rob Maver, he wrote an article on 3 Down Nation.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like this guy is pumped. And Ed Hervey said it too. He goes, he ended up being the guy because players want to play for him. And he just seems like an overall good dude. He said he wants a team that's kind of like gritty like the city is, hardworking. They're going to hold players accountable. And just everything I'm seeing, man, is just trending upwards, Gager. Like it's, and like you said, and I know Maddie's going to join us at 140, and I know he said he's cautiously optimistic because this is his first head coaching job. And until they hit the field, Gager, we don't know. Like you said, this is all great right now. You're pumped.
It's great. But I mean, you can't start out 0-7 again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you speak on the fact of just having everyone raving about this type of coach and having good experiences with him. It was one of the conversations at dinner last night. Just coaching, because we were actually talking about Rick Bowness, and Chris Tanev was talking glowingly about Bowness, how I wouldn't be the player today if he wasn't my coach.
Yeah.
And so this is what, coaches are almost like teachers in a way. They have profound, they have a profound message that usually, sticks with you for the better part of your life. And if he's one of these guys that can not only make players better, but make players want to win together and create the culture that we've heard from each and every one of these guys in their press conferences, it's a step in the right direction.
And I also like that it's, how Ed Hervey said he wants to turn this franchise around because it was kind of a laughing stock.
Yeah.
I feel now with the 3 hires the Elks have made, players want to come here, Gager, and that's very important.
Really? Did you think that they didn't want to come here?
Well, there's few like star players saying don't go to Edmonton. It's a crap show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Kenny Lawler said it when he went to Winnipeg.
Well, was that? I wonder how much of the new ownership coming in and solidifying that made a difference, because every year you're always hearing, well, what's going to happen? It's community run. Is there going to be a team? Like, if they weren't doing well, they look at the stands. So now that that's settled, I would think that players would be way more inclined to come to Edmonton, just the history and solely on the fact that they've solidified the ownership.
Yeah, oh, for sure. That's the game changer right there.
Yeah.
Now you can go out and get anyone you want, right? So Rob from the Grove says the Double E Football Club is heading in the right direction. Tube Talk says everything seems to falling into place for the Double E. It's getting to the point, and again, until they hit the field and they haven't won an opening game in a while, that's the first step. And then, like you said, don't go 0 for 4, 5, 6, 7. Like,
you got to win the home opener, man. You got to win the first game of the season. Start off on the right foot.
Yeah.
Like, enough's enough,
So what's up next is, by the way, great hair too
on
Mark Kilam.
Oh, you mean
That's probably the best flow in the league right now.
John Wick? I thought it was John Wick when I first. Why is John Wick coaching the Elks? So
no, it's gonna be a lot of energy in that dressing room on that sidelines. I can't wait. Now the next part is Gager. He's got to fill out his coaching staff. How many coaches from the current staff or that were here last year will remain, if any?
That's one of the questions I'd like to ask Hervey. Is how does that process look? And is Kilam a big part of the discussions there? I'm sure it's a joint type of meeting, or he goes over the selections and
because he did say Kilam did say in the presser that he goes, like that's the exciting part. I have a lot of people to reach out to and see, go there. So
but Hervey said he wanted to be part of that.
Oh, he will. I'm pretty sure as a GM, it's like, hey, what do you think of this guy? Hey, what do you think of that? And then the big one is the quarterback, and my spidey senses are telling me that it's going to be Trey here. The way the league's going, VA to Calgary, Gager, that was the big fish.
Well, Alexander's locked up.
Those were the only 2 guys I would have took over Trey Ford, because Fajardo doesn't do it for me. Trevor Harris doesn't do it for me. Jake Mayer doesn't do it for me, unless they're in a backup
still
role.
With the Rough Riders, or
I think he's a free agent.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah.
I wish there was a Puckpedia for the CFL.
Yeah, that'd be just to know anything, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, like seriously. Smitty the Welder says, as a Stamps fan, I'm pissed they let Mark go and kept Dave Dickinson. I didn't know you were a Stamps fan, Smitty the Welder. That changes everything. No, you're always welcome here. And it's gonna be interesting to see. I think we'll have some. I think the coaching staff, Gager, will go into the new year because you usually get those. You probably want it before free agency starts, but you're always adding as you go because you don't need to name them all at the same time.
No, yeah, but it would be. I think it. I'd rather they do that before. I'd like it done in the next couple of weeks. Tell you the truth, then you have everyone. They're on the team, home for Christmas. Start of January, everything starts rolling. You know, I know it's early, but I think it's imperative that this team, like the equivalent of captain skates, but getting guys together and getting everything finalized. Yeah. I know when's free agency is February 1st, is
11th.
11th. So, yeah, there's a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And get those lists all, prim and proper and see what you want.
Because you can sign your guys right now. Mm-hmm. So we'll see, like Niles Morey and Trey Ford. You can sign those guys right now. And Katie says, well, it was a crap show. No, and no one's debating that, like the home losing streak and then starting 0-9 and then 0-7. And trust me, like I was there and we felt it too. It was tough sledding, but it looks like the double lead, at least on paper right now in the offseason, Gager, they're turning the corner and they're putting together a good staff. Let's get to the Edmonton Oilers. I was damn impressed on Saturday, Gager. I'll say this, because on Friday, they won, but it wasn't it was good and bad. A lot of good and a lot of bad in that game. They were able to find a way in overtime. Good on them. Then they go into Denver, and Colorado's coming off a loss as well the night before. I thought it'd be feisty, but I thought the Oilers played a composed, mature road game, and they were the better team.
Yeah, I think 5 days off, you're going to be rusty or whatever, right? In the NHL, it's everyone's playing basically every second or third day and getting better each time out. So you're a little bit behind the eight ball because you just cannot simulate game type speed and aggressiveness and, reading and reacting to plays as you can in a practice. So you could see they were definitely behind the eight ball against the Utah club. Utah's good, man. I didn't mind their game.
They're not a bad team.
I thought, but they seem like they're the same team as we've seen in Arizona the past, I'd say maybe season and a half. They're good, but just lacking that kind of a breakout player. And I know they have some good ones. But Oilers took care of business. And then, it seemed like they got back onto that bike and rode it straight into Colorado and looked really good. Man, that was an efficient, very efficient game. McKinnon, what a whale of a player. A little snake bitten. I don't think he's scored in it's ridiculous. 17 shot attempts and eight shots on net, and every time he's just dangerous. Skinner with a great glove save on that one, man. I think they look like a team because when I look at from the opposite side, they're a little tentative because of their goaltending. It looks like they're trying to do a little too much. It reminded me of times in Oilers' past seasons where D-men were trying to, the communication didn't seem perfect and just a little bit out of position. So they got to do something about that.
Well, and they got Scott Wedgwood for their young...
backup.
Yeah,
trade.
backup. Yeah. And Georgiev's been kind of up and down. Kind of like Stewie Skins.
Yeah.
But Skinner was excellent in that game. They did give up a power play goal. It was the first time in 7 games they did, but that's okay.
Because then they went right to business again.
They went right to business. Some good-looking goals. We're going to show it, too, in highlights, lowlights, probably coming up in the second hour. It's just great to see Kapanen get his first. Podkolzin on a 3-game heater right now. Your guy, Kulak, once again.
You might get the Norris.
We're at my sister's for her birthday, and because everybody watches the show, and they're like, "Hey, this is Gager's favorite player." I was like, "Yep, that's
he's my favorite." How is he not your favorite player?
No,
really, he's awesome.
It's got to be Podkolzin, man.
No, he's not even close. Not even the same stratosphere.
Yeah, so tomorrow they'll go for 4 straight to close out the road trip, Gager. It's always tough when they go to Vegas there. That's a good team as well. We'll see what happens. See if they start getting some players back like Zachary Hyman and all that. But the Oilers, very impressive. And I think someone said it. since the second period. Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you. So in that Utah game, in the post game, Nugent Hopkins alluded to that after 20 minutes in Utah, like Leon Draisaitl got up and let the team have it. He said he made it uncomfortable, which is good, but he included himself in it. And you saw the turnaround in the second period. They scored 3 goals. So I'm like, this might happen more often than we know because they don't share that. But I'm glad he shared it because it's about damn time. Like, that first period was unacceptable in Utah.
Yeah, for how many? And, you know, it does take time to, not that it's taken Leon time. I think he's had a voice after his, like, second year. But this is the advantages of having a mature hockey team where when you're called out from your teammates and your peers, you can take it a little bit differently than, you know, as a young guy going, oh, he doesn't like me, you know. So these guys can take it in stride, and I'm sure it's happened way more. It's probably that's not the who knows? Maybe it's happened after a few games this year, stepping up. But it sounded like Leon kind of stood up and laid the boots to everyone a little bit. So you see that throughout the year, but it's nice to hear that, you know, there's internal accountability for these players amongst themselves.
Yeah.
Because look, these guys are men. You can't count on your coach to do it all the time because you've heard us say on all the shows here, you don't want your coach to become the Charlie Brown teacher. And for all you young people out there, watch Charlie Brown's Christmas and then you'll get it. The teacher's just like, wah, 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 and so you just don't hear it after a while. If it's too much, you can't. If they're coming yelling and screaming every third or fourth game, it loses its effectiveness amongst the group. And Leon's in a great place to stand up in front of everyone because he's lighting the world on fire. His point total is great. He's playing at an extremely high level right now. Everyone's going to listen what he has to say because he's, for the most part, leading by example. And talk about the field goal. Did you see what he did when Connor had that one-timer? That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was good. Thanks for reminding me of that. I totally forgot about
man. That was one of the funniest things I've seen. Like, your buddy and Connor, like, obviously, because Leon's always in that place, and Connor just sends it right through the uprights on the opposite side, and he just gives it to him. Like, his back's turned, too, and he just puts his... It's good. That was fantastic.
And Jeff Skinner fined by the league for a dive embellishment, they're calling it, against the Rangers. So you don't see those too often in the NHL.
Well, what did he do? Whose cornflakes did he pee in?
He's just pissing everybody off.
Wow. Well, maybe that'll I mean... He can afford it, so it's all right.
Kelvin Van Dasselaar says, Friday's post-game show felt like they actually lost. Well, because we talked a lot about, like, the third goal, the tying goal was bad on all accounts by the Oilers, and that's what you're going to get on the post-game shows here. You're going to get the good and the bad. It's not like it's not a fan show, right? Like we're not fans. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no,
we're not celebrating and anything. Like, we're happy the Oilers won, of course, but we're always going to break it down, the good and the bad. And Kelvin, sorry if it was a little too negative, but it was a game that I thought the Oilers were good for 30-something minutes because the first 30 was all Utah on that one. But they found their groove, and they got the 2 points, which is all that matters. But we got to get to a break as we're going to be joined by Ed Hervey, VP of Football Operations and General Manager of your Edmonton Elks. That's all coming up next year on Edmonton Sports Talk. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas. But first up, a sports update with Zach Tacom.
There's 3 games in the NHL, seeing the Devils battle the Rangers, a Stars matchup with the Hockey Club, and the Blackhawks face the Maple Leafs. In the 2025 World Juniors Selection Camp roster has been named for Team Canada, with Oilers prospect Bo Akey making the cut. Canada's first game this year goes Boxing Day against Finland. In the NFL, the Jets have announced that Aaron Rodgers will start this week when they throw it down with the Dolphins, and it's the Browns and Broncos for Monday Night Football action, where you can join Lieutenant Eric at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge in Fort Road for 6:15 kickoff. Elsewhere, the Lakers hit the court with the Timberwolves, the Pelicans meet the Hawks, the Heat play the Celtics, and the Nets go at it with the Bulls for 4 games in the association. On the other side of the break, Elks GM Ed Hervey joins EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta injury lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. To a citywide powerhouse. We've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
You could set up your Christmas tree in the last available spot in the house, or you can create the space you need with Sentinel Storage. Get the most out of Christmas. Shop Canadian, store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free. Visit sentinelstorage.ca.
Can you just talk about the process and how you landed on Mark Kilam as your head coach?
Yeah, absolutely. The process itself obviously required various candidates who were interested and candidates that we reached out to. I'm not necessarily getting to the names, but just the level of interest in this job was very high. Although when we went through it and I was going through it, it was still the criteria that had to be met, for this situation, right? We have a fan base that is yearning for something different. They're yearning for something fresh, and they're yearning for something that obviously makes sense to them and something that they can buy into. So factoring all those things in addition to the simple standards of a coach, knowing what to do, being qualified for the job, those things go without saying. There was intangibles that needed to be met for this opportunity. And, as the process went and we've gone through it and talked with not only the candidates, but their potential assistant coaches, it got narrowed down to Mark, and there was really no question that he was the right person for this opportunity at this time.
Ed, the hiring of Kilam, obviously, is the young guy, the desire, the hunger to succeed at the head coaching position, was that one of the main factors? You talk about the intangibles. What other types of things that you saw in Mark that it was just like, yeah, this is my guy?
Well, Mark comes with 20 years of coaching experience from an organization that's been successful. You look at the coaches that he's learned under and that he's had a chance to coach with. I mean, John Huffnagel is an excellent coach in this league, and is very, excellent at preparing coaches for the next level. And obviously, Dave Dickinson has done an excellent job as well. But Mark's, his reputation as a motivator and the players' genuine enthusiasm for playing with him former players talked about those things. When I reached out and was contacting different players and different coaches, everyone would light up. Their mood would be more upbeat when they started talking about Mark and how he impacted their lives and how he's changed their lives as far as as a player concerned, and just talked about genuinely how infectious his personality is and how it resonates in a locker room. And those intangibles, those factors were just too good to pass up, and they were, it caused us to further investigate that even more. And here we are with the decision today that we feel very very happy with.
Ed, it's pretty cool because you don't see it in this day and age as much with players and coaches, but the amount of support Mark Kilam had this last week on social media from players past, present, some players in the NFL, just all different levels, speak glowingly of him, and so happy that when it was kind of leaked on the weekend and then made official today. How important was that to you to see the amount of support Mark Kilam got from players past and present?
I think when I look at it, in a little while, it'll be one of those things where I look back on it and be like, wow, it really was an overwhelming amount of support. But in the short term, you couldn't help but take notice to it. But I wasn't going to allow that to cloud, the judgment as far as the responsibilities of the job itself. But it does speak to the character of Mark. It does speak to the impact that Mark has had in the playing careers of all those players that spoke about him. And more importantly, I think it really shows that there's a level of excitement around Mark Kilam that you likely wasn't going to find in any other candidate. So with all that to be said, the player support for him is very important, especially in a time where players play on 1-year contracts and there's so much movement. Creating a level of stability is important to me as far as building a successful football team. And if you have a coach that players want to play for, that it can only enhance the opportunities for players to get settled and be in one place for more than 1 year.
Ed Hervey joins us, general manager for the Edmonton Elks. Ed, so building a team is kind of like putting a puzzle together. If I were to ask you, is the border kind of is it completed yet? And is this a 1,500 piece puzzle that still a lot of other positions to fill? Where are you exactly in getting this thing all together?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously there's more to be done with this, and it's going to be ongoing throughout the process. We know the puzzle doesn't get complete until championships are won. So for me, that is the ultimate end game for the objective of this puzzle. But in the short term, as we're putting the puzzle together, you have to have key pieces and that allow you to paint the picture where you can see the visual. And when you do a puzzle, after a while, when you start to really get the pieces in place, the puzzle becomes easier to complete, because you can recognize which pieces are going to help you complete it sooner rather than later. And I think where we are now is that there's an opportunity for to start filling it in. Obviously, the players are very important. The assistant coaches are a high priority, and again, in of Edmonton to players that aren't here, that's another factor in it as well. So when we finally get everyone together and we're able to now start to speak about what it's like to be here, what the standards are going to be, and what our expectations are moving forward, I anticipate players to really take a long, hard look at Edmonton, and in that we will be able to now fill the board with pieces to the puzzle that can give us success that we're looking for, not only in the short term, but looking at long-term sustainable success moving forward.
Ed, you started your second stint with the Green and Gold just about under 2 weeks ago. How's it been being back in Edmonton, being back in the facility, in the dressing room, seeing some of the old players and all that? How's these last 2 weeks been with you back in your return to the Green and Gold?
No, it's been fantastic. I mean, I couldn't ask. I haven't been happier. Like I've actually been here. I practically live here now. I'm in the office between 6:30 and 7 in the morning, and here every day on the weekends. I'm here till 11 o'clock at night, 10:30, 11, just trying to get things done. It feels like home to me. I feel like like riding a bike is probably the best analogy that I can give. When you haven't rode a bike for a long time, and then you get on it and you start pedaling and you're on your way. That's how I feel. There's a lot of new faces around here, and there's some familiar faces, but the familiar faces have been, the reception has been warm. The young staff that's here have been, they have been excited to get to know, and but the people that know me have kind of established to them, what I expect, what I will expect when I walk around and do things. I want perfection. I want the best. I want us to get along and have a positive work environment for the players to come into, and recognize that, hey, we're all pulling in the same direction, and if we can get everyone on that same page, it's only going to spill out on the field, and we'll the confidence that the players will gain from being around us and being prepared by the coaches. That will help us in games, especially late in games, where they know that they have full support from the organization as well as the fans that come to watch them play.
Ed, well, I can tell you just by the reaction on our inbox and on our social media, everybody's pretty pumped with the hiring of Chris Morris, now Mark Kilam, and of course yourself. It's exciting times. We'll probably leave you alone until free agency, but then we'll try to get you back on the show.
No promises.
In February, but great stuff, Ed, and thank you for taking the time on a busy afternoon. All the best, and I'm sure we'll chat soon.
Absolutely appreciate it, and thanks for having me on.
Ed Hervey, Edmonton Elks VP of Football Ops and General Manager, joining us here. And, it's just, again, alluding to it. I like what he said about, all the player support. He didn't let that cloud his judgment. Like, he still had to look at all the, like you said, the details, the intangibles that come with it. Who's he thinking of bringing in and all that? So, because a lot of people get lost in that. Look at all the support he's getting from players all over the North America. I like that he said that it's good to see that, because obviously he's a player's coach. He goes, but you can't just go off that, right?
Yeah. I liked when I just using the puzzle analogy. It's not completed until a championship's made. Right?
That's a good point.
That was awesome, man. So if I'm right in my mind's eye, I see the personnel, the border, the picture of the team, but then there's a gray cup in the middle of that picture that needs to be filled in too, right? So that's a guy that with the eye on the prize. He answered that better than I thought he would.
And that's a great analogy, because at least the way I thought it when you were asking it was getting to training camp.
That's what I was alluding to, right? And he went way further than that. So obviously right pick for GM, because his vision is not as obtuse as mine is.
We'll have that up on all the streaming platforms, of course, Apple, Spotify. Great conversation. Still to come up next, Matthew Iwanyk will join us. Of course, he's the host, one of the hosts on the Green and Gold kickoff and post-game shows for your Edmonton Elks. He's going to have some interesting things to say about Mark Kilam. I know there's some reservations from some people because he's been passed up and all that, which is a good point, Gager, but I look at it more as sometimes it's just not your time, and especially if you look at the NFL, NHL, CFL, a lot of owners always go back, or presidents go back to the old guard, right? And I think maybe, and Mark Kilam's only 45, so we're talking the last 10 years he's interviewed, sometimes he was in his late 30s, and maybe they thought you're too young. Do you know what I mean? So, but it is a good point. I understand that there's been a lot of coaches that have been passed up. You look like at a Todd Nelson in hockey, right? He does it all at every level.
How old's Jay Woodcroft? He's...
Yeah, exactly.
I'm to look forward to Kilam's first year. It's going to be a bit of a transition, I think, going from the assistant, the go-between sometimes to the big dog.
You're in
right?
charge of everybody.
This is the buck stops with you now, right? So, and I've had coaches that have been assistants and then go to head coaches, and there's been a complete change. Some are a little bit more gradual, because in most cases, most of the head coaches I had are pretty much hard asses, right? So they don't have time for you.
It was a different time.
Yeah, it was a different time. So, but I think younger players now, communication lines have to be open a lot more.
Yeah.
And having a younger guy that knows how to work Snapchat probably is maybe a little better in certain situations.
I can kind of see it similar to Corey Mace when he went to Sask. Now, he hasn't been around as long as Kilam as an assistant, but a guy that never was never head coach. I think the Elks are going to get the coach bump. They're going to start nice. It's going to be like this. It's going to be a little bumpy at times because we can't expect a whole new staff. It's going to be probably, depending on the roster, how much turnover they're going to have. It could, I still think they'll have some success, but I think it's going to be gradual. I don't think one day to the next this team's going to be 16-2, right? It could. It's the CFL, but I think you also have to remain patient with the staff and let them go through their growing pains because there will be some. So what I'm intrigued about most is his coordinators, Gage, because that's a big part of it, who he's going to lean on and all that. But it's fun. It's exciting if you're a Double E fan. I'm pumped. I was there for 2.5 years, and I'm absolutely loving what they're doing. Very happy for everybody there. But like Gage said, until we see him on the field, we'll get a good sense of what kind of team they've built and all that. But hard not to get excited. Chris Morris, Ed Hervey, and now Mark Kilam, absolutely outstanding. And now if you can sign Trey Ford to a multi-year deal, holy smokes, Gage, we're going to be celebrating here when Trey Ford signs.
I think that's one of the pieces of the puzzle. So.
That's definitely it. Don't forget to check out Monday Night Football. Our guy, Lieutenant Eric, will be down at the Centric Casino Fort Road for the Loaded Burger. Coming up next, Matthew Iwanyk, and we'll continue to talk some Elks and Oilers with Mr. Iwanyk himself here on EST Afternoons. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas. But first up, here is Zach Tacum with a sports update.
On the ice, the Maple Leafs play the Blackhawks, the Rangers meet the Devils, and the Hockey Club battle the Stars for 3 games in the NHL. Elsewhere, the Oilers prospect, Bo Akey, has been named one of 32 players to Team Canada's upcoming World Junior Selection Camp roster. Canada plays their first game, Boxing Day, against Finland. Football sees the Jets announcing that they will stick with Aaron Rodgers this week as they kick off against the Dolphins. Monday Night Football action has the Broncos duking it out with the Browns, where you can swing by the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge on Fort Road to join Lieutenant Eric for a 6:15 start. The NBA has 4 games with the Heat throwing it down with the Celtics, the Bulls tipping off with the Nets, the Timberwolves taking on and the Hawks facing the Pelicans. After the break, Matthew Iwanyk joins the EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki in a tuxedo t-shirt because it says, like, he wants to be formal, but he's also here to party too.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road Park.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Book your holiday party at the CBH today. The Canadian Brew House is your ultimate destination for events, parties, fundraisers, and more. 'Tis the season to celebrate. Visit and book now in-store or at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
Back to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. We just chatted with Edmonton Elks General Manager Ed Hervey. Fun conversation there. Everybody's pretty pumped, it seems, on the inbox, 780-218-9999, and on the nasty chat for Mark Kilam to be the 25th head coach in franchise history. We're joined now by Matthew Iwanyk from the Hangout. Of course, the host also on the Green and Gold kickoff and post-game shows for your Edmonton Elks. Initial thoughts. I know you're kind of cautiously optimistic on Mark Kilam,
yes,
but
I will take a wait-and-see approach with him.
What do you think of his press conference? Like, I like it because he showed emotion, he showed heart, he showed he had a personality, like a lot of things. What'd you take?
He fits in with Ed Hervey and Chris Morris rather well. That he has that passion. He clearly cares about this project that he's jumping in on. So all that, I love that. It's, we saw, Chris Morris's presidential press conference wasn't really a traditional president press conference, the way he spoke and stuff. Today, I felt like it's almost a little similar with the way, Mark Kilam started it off and all that passion he brought. Isn't always the typical head coaching one that you always see, at least in the Canadian football league. You see that a little bit more down south with college football. But beyond that, I don't have much else that I take from it. I love that he has the passion, but a lot of what he says, that's what coaches all say. Like, we're going to be a team that's going to work hard. We're going to be a team that matches the city. We're going to be a team that's going to keep each other accountable. Yeah. Thanks. And that, I'm not trying to rip on him for that.
Yeah.
But for me, we always get that. That is the standard head coaching hires, what you say, and the checklist that you have to go through. More than anything with the head coach, is let's see it on the field. Let's see it when that player takes that penalty at a bad time. How are you holding them accountable? Every coach wants to hold every player accountable. Every coach wants to build the right culture. So he said all the things that you have to say. But now I will take the wait and see approach when it comes to Mark Kilam.
I just wanted to ask you, because you said he's interviewed for other head coaching jobs, and
he's been rumored to have. Yes.
Okay. So he's still fairly young, only 45 years old. Could it be that he wasn't hired just because maybe it was an age thing? And because we were talking about how the NHL, the NFL, the CFL, they kind of like going back to the old guard, like been there, done that, like, here, come here, and we'll see what you can do with the older coach. Could it be maybe it was something like that with him? Not necessarily that he wasn't up for the job, because I look at a guy like Jason Shivers. He interviewed in Salas, didn't get it. And then he was assistant head coach here when Chris Jones brought him in. And when they fired Chris Jones, Jarius Jackson got the head coaching job.
Yeah, because the defense was trash. Yeah. That was a hard. I'm with you. When Jason Shivers was hired, I thought he was the natural. When Chris Jones gets fired, or if he gets fired, Jason Shivers takes over as interim. But you couldn't replace Chris Jones with the guy who had the worst defense in the Canadian Football League as the defensive coordinator.
Were they the worst at the time?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
Damn.
Or they were maybe the week after they became the worst or something. But no, they were right there near the bottom. So it was a hard sell then, be like, hey, we're gonna promote the interim head coach is now the defensive coordinator who hasn't been very good. It is a good point. Yeah. I'd have to go back and look at who are the youngest coaches in the Canadian Football League. Like Ryan Dinwiddie was a young coach, but that was recent.
Mace.
But those are very recent, which maybe that's changed that a little bit here. So that might be an excellent point with that. Like, I'd have to go look to see how old was Richie Hall and how old Greg Marshall, I think, would have been older. How old was Richie Hall when he got hired here in Edmonton? And how long did he have that he was passed over? So maybe this makes him a little bit that outlier of those longtime assistants who have been interviewed, have been rumored to be in the job hunt for many different openings, but never got it. Maybe it was just strictly an age thing, and that's why I'm taking the wait and see approach. I'm not going to sit here today and say the Elks got this wrong. I don't think they did necessarily get this wrong. I'm just not one of those people that's going to sit here today and say easy slam dunk home run, book it.
No, you can't.
It creates
Some people are.
Really?
Yeah, you get some people.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Maddie. I'm like they're saying all the right things and it's exciting and stuff, but until you start seeing the roster kind of form, and until we see some games, it's tough to not be a little bit skeptical of this team.
Well, and anyone that maybe has been a fan of this team for the last number of years, like game one of the season, I don't care. Like they could knock it out of the park for agency. It could be Trey Ford starting quarterback.
Yeah.
They can nail everything. And, the entire roster. How many fans are still going to be a little nervous that first game is going to be a loss?
Yeah,
just from that's what you're used to.
Like how important is a win on game one though? How important is that?
I think it's first 3 weeks.
Really?
I think I got to see the schedule. I got to base it on the
Which
schedule.
will come out soon.
Yeah.
Last year was December 14th.
Yeah.
So it should be very soon.
I think the first game.
You could go. I think you could go 0-2. I don't think you can go 0-3.
I think I'm with
but see,
you.
this is where the fans have been for so long that it's just like
because 0-2 fans are going to be like, here we go again.
Yeah.
Well, 0-1 fans, I'm going to be going, here we go again.
But that also comes down to who are they playing. Like if they're taking on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, let's say.
You just said they're past their prime.
I know.
And but still,
you said they're right.
The Elks,
your exact words when I was working in the office, they were ripe for the picking. They were juicy plums.
But the thing is, the Elks, are they ready to take over though against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers?
Yes.
Are the Elks that team that are going to take them down? And that's where week one, there's a couple teams I could sit there and be like, if they lose in week one, like if it's Calgary. Edmonton should, I think, beat Calgary. Maybe, unless Viego's. I don't know. I got to see the whole. I got to see.
I'm with Gage. I don't think it matters who it is. Go win.
Go win the game.
Absolutely, but I don't. I'm not. I don't think it's as bad. Like if they lose that first game, but then go win the next two or something, then it's all good. Everything's good. I don't think it says panic mode. If they go 1-3, I'm in panic mode.
Yeah,
I'm talking panic mode.
Yeah.
0-3 for me is panic mode.
I'm already panicked. I don't know.
I'm gonna ask. He comes from the school of Huff, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's good. And Ed Hervey said it in our interview with us, too. Like, so, okay. Is that good for you? Because I think it is, because Huff always has good coordinators. And I don't know who you're going to bring up.
Who?
The guy with the hat.
Devontae Claybrooks.
Yeah. I understand that one. But, like,
who Ed also hired.
Is Mark Kilam, because he went from strength and conditioning coach to special teams coordinator. Is he more offensive or defensive guy? Because I don't know that.
What, like Mark Kilam?
Yeah.
Well, didn't he have some defensive role or something there?
Like, where's his strong suit outside of special teams? Because now you're the head coach.
I would say it's defense because he played defense.
Okay.
Right? Like, he was a linebacker. In Calgary, he was a defensive assistant from 05 to 06. Then he was the linebackers coach from 07 to 09.
Oh, okay.
So before he was a special teams coordinator and also assistant coach, he had some defensive responsibilities.
Okay, so that's his stronger
So
suit.
defensively, and he was a linebacker when he went to the goal, the U of A and stuff. So defense would be more of his strength, I would say.
So he needs a strong coordinator offensively.
Which Maximic I'm okay with.
Yeah, me
Jordan
too.
McSimic would be I was a little worried when I was first thinking about it until I started talking about it on the Hangout. Jordan McSimic's young, but he's been an OC for a few years now.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was thinking if you bring in McSimic and JC Sherrod and Mark Kilam, that's a lot of inexperience there. But then I thought, no, McSimic's actually had a few years. So maybe he becomes that little bit of the veteran in terms of their role, like the current role that they hold.
Yeah.
Mark Kilam's not a head coach. He's never been a head coach, JC Sherrod's never been a DC in the Canadian Football League. He was a DC in Cal Poly down south.
Yeah.
So it would be a very young coaching staff, but I could live with it. I really want to see Jordan McSimic. If you're going to have Trey Ford, I want to see Jordan McSimic because I think he's a very bright offensive mind. And I don't think he will be here long because I think he'll be a head coach soon in the Canadian Football League. But I want those first few years of him as the OC with Trey Ford.
Johnny Alberta says, really surprised that the Elks went with someone with no CFL head coach experience over someone like Rick Campbell, but going to give him a chance, though. Were you surprised it was Kilam over Rick Campbell? Because 3 weeks ago, guys, it was a slam dunk. It was going to be Rick Campbell.
Well, didn't Hervey say he's the right guy for where the Elks are right now?
Yeah.
So I think that's important.
I said this one on the Hangout. I looked at Rick Campbell as it's lower risk hiring Rick Campbell
Yeah.
But I don't think it's as great of a reward. Whereas I think Mark Kilam has a bigger risk of hiring him because of the fact that he doesn't have that head coaching experience. But I think the reward, if Mark Kilam is the right hire, is much greater than Rick Campbell. Not only do you have a guy that can maybe then go lead you to Grey Cups, but the players would love him then by all accounts based on if you're going to carry what he's taken from Calgary to here. I'm going to assume if he's having success here, the players are going to continue to love him. And then because of the age, he's a guy that then could be here for a very long time.
Yeah.
And so that's the one thing I'll say. Like, I think this is a much higher risk, higher reward play by Ed Hervey and Chris Morris. And I like that, though. I that's one thing I do like is not going the safe route. Like, it was very easy to just go Rick Campbell. It was very easy to be like, this guy has won a Grey Cup. He's been to a few Grey Cups. Ed hired him in BC. Very easy to just, I think there was some of the criticism of Chris Morris and Ed Hervey hiring is the Elks, that old boys club coming together type thing. This is an old boys club. This is a guy that has a connection to the community, but he doesn't have a connection to this franchise. He doesn't have a connection to Ed or really Chris, outside of the fact that Chris went to the U of A after Kilam was there and stuff, right? Like, this is
he was 20 years with the biggest rival.
And in a sense, you could say, like, the Elks went out of their comfort zone for this.
Yeah.
And I respect that. The last hire they had, Chris Jones, they were forced to hire Chris Jones in a sense because of the cap situation. Like, you couldn't go do something different because of how the CFL capping structure was. You got two jobs and that covered by one guy, and he had a history here. He won a Grey Cup here. Now you went outside the box a little bit.
It's good.
And we will see how it plays out. Again, that's where I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
I'm not going to see her and say it's a terrible hire. I'm not going to see her and be like, Ed got it wrong.
So you're giving them 0-2, not 0-3.
I don't think you could start 0-3 before I start going panic.
No,
I think you could go 0-2.
Okay,
I need to see the schedule, though. Let me see the schedule, then let me see how the free agency shapes out. And I'll tell you how I predicted 0-4 start last year.
Flip-flopping like a fish in a boat right now.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
You gonna throw me back over?
No, I'll keep you.
10 being the highest possibility. Trey Ford's the starter for this team. I think it's pretty high right now. The underlying quotes that Hervey has said about Trey, just what you're hearing, it sounds like this is a guy they want to bring back.
When Ed was on with Jay and I, when we got hired, when I asked him about Trey, I just said, can you see Trey as being a potential starting quarterback for the Green and Gold? He started talking. It was basically like he had the plans in his mind, and he was explaining how are they going to work with Trey, and what players are they going to surround Trey with. It was like he, I don't know if he made a mistake there or not, but it was like he was trying to be like, this is how do we go about building a team around Trey? Not this guy could potentially, across the league, he could be a starting quarterback. Like, he went into his plans for Trey. So I think Trey is the de facto starter going into camp. I'll put it at 75% he's the starter. Because what if he comes to camp and they bring in Jake Mayer and Jake Mayer outshines him in training camp?
Oh, highly unlikely.
But like, if Trey Ford has an awful camp and a Jake Mayer comes in, let's say, and has an unreal camp, how do you, I didn't like it the other way. I did not like MBT getting that one contract and them going into camp because I was like, what if Trey Ford outshines MBT in training camp? Trey Ford doesn't get the starting role? You got to go with the guy that gives you, who's the best.
Yeah.
If Ed said one thing when he got hired too, though, was he wants Trey to come in to compete for the job.
Yeah.
Which means you got to go earn it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying Trey's not going to then go earn it, but that's where I'm going to go 25% open for the fact that maybe they bring in a backup and that backup outshines Trey where Trey doesn't step up. I don't believe that will happen because I believe in Trey. I am the president of the Trey Ford fan club. He's my boy. But I got to keep things a little bit open.
Do you think if a deal does come through for Trey, it's 3 years?
It has to be a minimum 3 years.
Yeah, it wouldn't go longer. You don't see
you can't go longer than that either.
Yeah.
Well, you still don't know what it is. I'll say this.
Yeah, you still don't know.
If everything goes well, you sign Trey to a 3-year deal. If he's crushing it through 2 years, you sign him to a 4 or 5 year deal. You keep him in this. You go then give him that big contract.
I'm a dreamer, guys. I want to see both Ford brothers here. That'd be cool.
That would be good.
Okay, for marketing. Holy smokes.
I could see a dealership around town being liking that a lot.
You jump on that, man. Holy smokes.
I might open a dealership if that happens.
I just want free agency to come and just see where all the quarterbacks are going and things like that.
I like your idea of Trey Ford signing and then bringing in Jeremiah Mazzoli because he
I
won't
come up with a
demand.
lot of good
He
ideas.
won't demand to be the number one. He won't get paid like a number one, and he's probably fine being Trey Ford's backup and playing if there's injuries or.
Well, if you're anyone looking for a backup role, Edmonton is an attractive spot for Jeremiah Mazzoli to me because if Trey gets hurt, which 2 out of 3 seasons he's been hurt, you get a chance to be the starter for a period of time. There is still the unknown of Trey Ford being a proven starter type thing in this league. What if this team is 2-8, 2-9 or something? If you are the backup of this team, you have a shot to then take over that starting job. Yep. Like this, I think would be an attractive spot for that. You don't worry about coming in right away. There is a potential if you aren't one of because Cody Fajardo's he's an upper echelon backup. There's a couple of others that are upper echelon backups. When you're Jeremy Mazzoli, look at Edmonton. There's a chance to potentially get back into a starter's role.
Yeah,
you just have to be patient. But I'm going to be fascinated by the backup quarterbacks across this league because who's going to back up Zach Collaros in Winnipeg? Because they got to start worrying about the future. Who's going to back up Trevor Harris if he returns to Saskatchewan? Because they got to worry about the quarterback of the future. Who's going to back up Nathan Rourke out in BC? What if Nathan Rourke is the Nathan Rourke we saw this year and not before he went to the NFL?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You need what quarterback in the CFL, starting quarterback, did not get injured this year?
Bo Levi.
Bo, he just got benched.
He got benched.
I think Bo, I think that was it.
That's the only one?
Chad Kelly got hurt at the end.
McLeod.
Chad Kelly was suspended. He did get hurt, though. There was talks that he was hurt and stuff. What?
But Trey was kind of playing at that, and
Well, after the Hamilton game, it came out just prior to that MBT was saying he was banged up.
Yeah.
And he was playing through something because Jay brought it up on one of our kickoff shows. Chad Kelly got hurt at the end of in the East final, but he also was suspended for half the season. Yeah. Fajardo got hurt. Did Collaros miss a game?
He did. He was hurt.
Did he miss
Trevler played.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying
was that during the game, or was it?
He got no, he got hurt in the game, and then the next week he sat out.
Okay.
They didn't play him. Yeah.
That's right.
I think it was...
and I think they won.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and Trevler barely threw the ball.
And Jake Mayer, I don't think
I just
got hurt.
underline the
benched.
fact that you need, especially in the case with a guy that doesn't have a proven track record, you need someone that's going to be able to go in there and steady the ship.
Mayer never got hurt either.
But he got benched.
Okay.
So a lot like half benching, half
either
need
way,
two guys.
either way, someone went
part
had
of
to win.
part of that is Bo was by far the leading passer in the Canadian Football League because he was the only guy that played every game basically.
Yeah, I guess that's why.
The Canadian Football League.
Yeah, and for Trey Ford, he's got to start sliding. Like I know he wants to. Like all these guys want to show that hey, I can take a hit, but like you're far too important to the team to be. Because the hit he got hurt against BC, it was right in front of him.
He needs to run outside of bounds.
300-pound guy landed on him, Gage. No wonder he got
He needs
hurt.
to get rid of the ball. He needs to get rid of the ball.
And the ball was here, and the guy landed on him. The ball went right into his ribs.
What they need is Sergio Perez from a couple years ago to the Max Verstappen.
Ooh. Ministry of Defense.
Yeah, that's what they need. Now he wasn't going to take the number 1 seat for Max.
No, yeah. Oh, I see.
But he's going to be a serviceable player when you need him. He's going to hold up Lewis.
Yeah.
When you need him to hold up Lewis.
Well, not anymore. They're holding up each other.
That's why I said it from a few years ago. Because Perez, where's he going?
Matty, great.
Maybe he's the backup.
Yeah, you never know. Matty, great stuff as always. You always bring an honest take, and
that's what I try.
Matty does not like Kilam, so moral of the story. No, I'm just kidding. But he makes a good point. And we said it too. It's wait and see until we hit the field, right? Gage?
Yes.
It's exciting. We can be excied, but until we see this team play actual games, we won't know.
At least until we see the schedule. Then we could start looking and going 0-1, 0-2.
They need to win the first game, Matty. Come on.
I think they can get around the loss in week 1.
Especially if it's at home. You got to win at home, man.
They won't be at home week 1.
Did they start last week at home?
The last few years they've been at home, I feel like.
Yeah, because
the last 2 was against Saskatchewan for sure at home. So I feel like they're destined for a road game to start. They'll go, give them Montreal on the road to start the season.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Get that game out of the way.
Go out east, yeah.
0-1. Come back home. Go 1-1. Everyone's happy.
What are you guys talking about here? They need to win the first game. No.
Gager doesn't care where they're playing.
I'm trying to tape reps expectations here. I'm trying to just calm the waters early. Because we've seen this story before. That first loss happens, and then it's just this tailspin. It's 0-7, 0-9.
I just hope if they do lose the first game, we can take a measure. Well, probably not, but because, like I said, I think this is going to be a process. I don't think Mark Kilam comes in and turns his team into a 16-2 team, guys. Like, let's be honest here. No, I'd be happy. Like, I mean, they had
15-3.
15. Okay,
You know?
there we go.
No, but like 10-8, 11 wins.
That'd be huge. When
That's
Chris
huge.
Jones first came here as your first year, he went 12-4, which was a stunner. No one saw that. How good the Elks were that first season.
No, they could.
Need a home playoff date.
Oh my God, Gager.
Yeah, and you can afford a first loss for that. You start off slow and you build.
If they lose
Crescendo.
the first, they're not getting a home. If they win the first one, I guarantee home playoff date.
All right. Do you care if the Elks win their first game of the season? Maddie, great stuff as always. Quickly, Stuart Skinner make the Four Nations Canada team?
No, he's played himself off of it. We're not going to see you. And it's not that it's not even my take of it. Like, I think he's been fine this year. Sorry, and I know you're running up late. The thing I will say though is we have not seen anyone report that Stuart Skinner's in the conversation right now.
Yeah,
we've seen
point.
Hill, and the report a couple weekends ago was Binnington and Hill were 1-2, and they were looking at the third, and I didn't see Stuart Skinner's name in any of those.
Yeah.
So if Stuart Skinner is there in a couple of days, I will be pretty surprised that they went that way, because then the insiders have missed out on this.
Okay, fair enough. We'll find out
Read
Wednesday.
the tea leaves.
Yes. Maddie, thank you so much. From the Hangout from 9 to 11, Monday to Friday here. A portion of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brewhouse. NFL lives at the Canadian Brewhouse. With Thursday Night Football and your chance to win a trip to an NFL home opener of your choice, $1 off tankards of Bud Light and Budweiser. Details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. In hour 2, we'll do some highlights, lowlights, continue the Oilers and Elks talk, some NFL as well as we had one really dirty hit and then one unfortunate injury to a guy on my team that I cheer for. And Rob Maver, former CFL punter for the Calgary Stampeders, will chime in on Mark Kilam. That's all coming up here on EST Afternoons with Joaquin Gage and Hernan Salas.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
There's 3 games in the NHL, seeing the Devils battle the Rangers, a Stars matchup with the Hockey Club, and the Blackhawks face the Maple Leafs. Winnipeg Jets prospect Brandon Yager, along with Jackson Unger, has been traded to the Lethbridge Hurricanes for 2 first-rounders, a second-rounder, plus a 3rd, 4th, and 5th round selection. Landon Ward, Brady Smith, and Colt Carter also move with the picks to the other side. Back to the Moose Jaw Warriors. And it's the Browns and Broncos for Monday Night Football action, where you can join Lieutenant Eric at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge on Fort Road for 6:15 kickoff. Elsewhere, the Lakers hit the court with the Timberwolves. The Pelicans meet the Hawks. The Heat play the Celtics. And the Nets go at it with the Bulls for 4 games around the association. Joaquin Gage and Hernan Salas continues EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubish, and you're up to date.
2:06, hour 2 here on EST Afternoons. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas. You want to watch us? Hit us up on the EST YouTube channel. We're at about, let's see here, 53 thumbs up. There's 141 watching. The math just doesn't add up. Gage, just hit that thumbs up. Really helps the algorithm and gets more eyes on the show. Hit us up on the nasty chat. Text 780-218-9999. And if you're listening, iHeart, TuneIn, or EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Coming up in this hour, Rob Maver, former Calgary Stampeders punter, wrote an opinion piece on 3 Down Nation on his former special teams coordinator, Mark Kilam. So we'll get more of an idea of the man, the coach, and for the new leader of the Green and Gold, Mark Kilam. I didn't ask you, Gager, but 4 Nations will be released on Monday. I think they have to submit their rosters in today. Rumblings coming out at certain players. It's going to be Aiden Hill, Jordan Bennington. Have you changed your tune that any other Oiler will make the team or no?
No.
Okay.
I mean, was it? I think it was Shaggy this morning saying that the people that are picking the team also have to take into account where some of these players will most likely be at when the middle of February rolls around, right? And obviously they were discussing Stuart Skinner, and there's been steps in the right direction, but I think compared to, it's tough. It's tough. I put all those goalies kind of in the same bundle a little bit. I don't think picking Stuart Skinner would be wrong.
Yeah.
But I just go by numbers right now. It just, there's other guys that are playing well, and although I think his game is on the rise, I wouldn't be surprised if they picked him, but I don't think he'd be in that 3rd spot probably. He
would. And if you missed it, Jeff Skinner fined for an embellishment against the Rangers. David Jiricek was traded over the weekend to the Minnesota Wild by the Columbus Blue Jackets for Damon Hunt and 4 draft picks. Columbus received a 1st-round pick in 2025, a 3rd and 4th in 2026, and a 2nd in 2027. That's a hefty price, Gager, for a 20-year-old defenseman who's currently in the minors. I mean, if he turns out, good on Bill Guerin and the Minnesota Wild, but a guy that was rumored to get moved absolutely did this weekend, and it was to the team that everybody thought. It's the Minnesota Wild. I'm sure some other fans are upset. Hey, Canada World Junior Selection Camp, friend of the show, Bo Akey made the team.
All right.
Yeah, he's going.
He got the bump then.
He got the bump, so we'll see if he can stick. I hope he does. It's always great watching Oiler prospects at the World Juniors.
Is it in Finland this year?
Zach, do you know where it is?
Isn't it in Ottawa?
Oh. I don't know, maybe.
And Zach, if you can get the video ready too for highlights, lowlights, we're just gonna go through 2 goals from Saturday. Where is it?
It's in Ontario this year.
Oh, nice,
so
nice.
Belleville, Brockville, Cornwall, Hawkesbury, Kingston, Ottawa. Probably have the big games in Ottawa at the end. So, I thought it was going back overseas. That's great. Good times to watch the games. That's a tradition like no other. Boxing Day, usually with family, still a little bit hazy from the amount of food, and it's all turkey sandwiches, and then break down
It's great, actually.
It's fantastic. Yeah. I wear pajamas all day.
Brian Cheeseman, a good buddy from the Elks, says Ottawa. So that's good. And like you said, it's perfect for the timing. And we'll see if Bo Akey can make the team. I think YouTube Trevor was saying the team looks really good for the players they called for the selection camp. So I know there's another Oiler prospect that's been selected to the U.S. team. So hopefully he can stick there too. Okay. Yeah, so Cheeseman says splits between the Sens and the 67s arena. Okay. So, yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be a good time. But this past Saturday, we've done highlights, lowlights all season long. People love it, Gager. Usually it's a lot of lowlights. But on Saturday, there's some good goals. Your boy Makar looks really bad on one. He just loses the puck, kind of gets lost in his skates. Yeah. And Connor McDavid circling, you're going to be in some trouble. But I really like the first goal by Kapanen. That was all McDavid with an all-world play and all-world pass. Yeah. And I really like the potholes and tip. There's a lot of good work done on that. So if you're ready to roll, here's highlights, lowlights from Saturday. Here's the first one. See, Makar blocks it there, Gager. Mm-hmm. Then McDavid. It's just McDavid. I just wanted to show it because McDavid is awesome. He just picks up the puck.
Yeah. Look at those
Devin Taves,
two guys,
McKinnon.
strong, like just commanding everyone's vision. That looked like an Oilers goal against from earlier on in the season.
Yeah,
right? So, but that's the thing when you have guys that are that good with the puck, everyone starts to panic a little bit because they're dangerous. They're so dangerous with the puck. So. And then he starts focusing, opens up a guy. I like Kapanen's response after, like, one of the easiest goals he'll ever score.
And you know what? It was funny when I was cutting the clip. I was thinking about that too. I go, this looked like the Oilers when they were in their bad moments earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Everybody was puck watching. We'll show it here again, then we'll break down the second goal. And McCarr gets caught up high, usually makes a better play than that. But I love that it's McKinnon and Devin Taves.
Yeah, they both know they don't want him to cut to the net. They think it's all done, but now you got three guys going to one guy.
So McKinnon was a little late on that one.
A little bit late.
This one I like. Stetcher, good shot. Puck battle won by Podkolzin. Just look at this pass from Leon, though, Gager. Like, right on the money. Like, it's just phenomenal.
Threw a couple guys right on his tape.
And then a hell of a shot under pressure by Stetcher. And I don't know why the camera goes away from Podkolzin, but that was a hell of a deflection.
It was, and it started like during the game they showed it, and this guy battles in front of the net, gets position on a guy, gets his stick free, presents it to Stetcher, and that's kind of what you want to do. And just perfect tip. He's maybe we're eating our words here. I don't know what's going on with those.
You must have heard Tommy and I talking on the
He's
post
got it's kind of a reverse bump that he's getting from us.
Yeah,
but
he is.
Look, it's it's really weird that I was thinking about it, because now you got Kapanen, he scored, you got Podkolzin scored, and so you'll hear guys that are injured and out of the lineup. It's almost you don't want to say this, but if the team's losing, it's easier to be injured, right?
Yeah.
When they're winning, it's tough, and especially when you see guys that are usually in your position are having success. Where if Hyman and Arvidsson were had respectable numbers up to this point, I think it would be fine. But the fact that other guys are going into those positions and contributing offensively, that's when it's like, I got to get better soon, or else. Because how do you? I mean, I think Zach Hyman's on the trip, so you might see him back to his probably normal spot to start the game. But I mean, it's going so well with what you got there. Do you automatically just throw Hyman back in, or do you put him in a position where he doesn't feel like this guy's scored 3 goals in 3 games. I got to do this. I got to score 3 goals in 3 games to show that I'm just as good as this guy, and put that. Or I don't think you're putting pressure on him to do that. He's putting that pressure on himself to do it at that case. And do you start him lower in the lineup and just to get back to where he was before?
I would, with Kapanen, yes. It was one game. He played well. Sure, he scored a goal. I mean, it was
2 good games.
Yeah, 2 good games. I just think Hyman adds more to that line. And reports coming from practice in Vegas, Kapanen remains on the first line with Nuge. So Hyman's probably not back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm okay with it, Gager. I mean, like you said, Kapanen's fighting for his life right now. He is. Yeah. Because he was on waivers.
Yeah.
If Hyman and Arvidsson come back, Podkolzin keeps producing, there's not a spot for him. No. Unless you want to play in the fourth line instead of Ryan or Perry, right? And Kapanen's probably not built to play in that role. So for him, he's like, I'm getting an opportunity, like a second go here in my career.
Well, he's not only doing it for here. Like, all accounts, he'll probably have to go through waivers again, right? Yeah. And if he's got, 5 points or whatever, he'll probably get picked up by another NHL team.
Yeah. Yeah. Aiden says leaked Team Canada's goalies Binnington, Hill, Skinner. I know Maddie asked him where he saw that, because I don't know if that's confirmed or if that's just what he wishes. So don't hold us to that, but that's what Aiden sent us on the nasty chat. I mean, I'd be happy. I would totally be happy with that. I mean, it'd be good for Skinner. You know what the good thing is also, like Tommy's been saying, maybe it's been weighing on some of these guys a bit, and not just Oiler players. I think around the NHL, like, am I going to get called to this team? Because everybody wants to be a part of it. Gage.
You'd think, yeah. And look, man, I always say it's a. Where would you rather? I mean, it's not the Olympics, you know. This is a new tournament. Would you rather have your top end guys taking some time, mending some wounds? Because it's impossible. Like, whatever you want to say about it, it's impossible for these guys to turn it off once it starts counting for real.
Yeah.
You know, you get into gold medal games or whatever, the championship games or getting to the championships. It's going to be all out.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. I'm surprised it hasn't leaked yet.
What?
Like
the roster?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really tight-lipped about this thing.
Yeah. And just as I said, Mark Spector reports from Las Vegas, Hyman looks ready to go. They will ask Knobloch following practice.
Okay, so obviously they're on the ice right now.
Put him on the third line. I would riot if Hyman's on the third line. I will riot by myself. Yeah,
Why?
he's too good to be down in the bottom.
But look at you just raved about their game.
Yeah, but I don't think Hyman coming into that hurts you at all. Like, you don't miss. Like, it's not like.
Have you watched him play, Les?
No, fair enough. He hasn't been very good this year. I think snake bitten is a good word. Like, he's still around it. He needs to be better. I agree. But
like I said, he usually has 5 disallowed goals by this time.
If you're asking me if I prefer him or Kapanen with McDavid, I'm going to go Hyman all the time.
I want to see Kapanen one more game.
Okay. Maybe he's the answer to beat Vegas in Vegas.
Might be. He's fast, man.
He's a good player.
He's very fast.
He's got the NHL wheels. He's a veteran guy. That McDavid pass. I mean, Gager. I mean,
was his dad the one that got hit in the playoffs and stumbled to the bench?
I don't know.
It was a bad hit. Sammy, right?
Sammy Kapanen? I don't know if that's his dad, is it?
Yeah, it is. I don't know. It was Oh, it was Darcy Tucker hit him.
Oh.
It was just like he launched himself by like the bottom of the circles and hit him. It was vicious.
Hey, it's Kelly Buckberger's birthday.
What?
Yeah, 58.
Oh, text him right now.
And former Oiler, Yeri Dupita. Remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah. He came 1 year. Young Hernan was so pumped for Yeri Dupita, and it didn't work out here. But a big happy birthday, Dubaki, former captain of the Edmonton Oilers. Coming up next, Rob Maver, former Calgary Stampeders punter, retired in 2019, played a lot of years under Mark Kilam, and he's going to chime in after he wrote an opinion piece on 3 Down Nation on Mark Kilam, so it's going to be a fun conversation. That's all coming up next here on EST Afternoons. Keep rocking that thumbs up. We're at 63. Let's get to 100. We got about 40 minutes to go. Let's get there. But more CFL talk on the way. We'll be right back after a sports update with Zacticum.
In the NHL, the Maple Leafs play the Blackhawks, the Rangers meet the Devils, and the Hockey Club battle the Stars for 3 games around the league. The 2025 World Junior Selection Camp roster for Team Canada has been named, with Oilers prospect Bo Akey making the cut. Canada's first game this year goes Boxing Day against Finland. Football sees the Jets announcing Aaron Rodgers as this week's starter for their game against the Dolphins, and you can catch Monday night football action between the Broncos and the Browns at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge on Fort Road alongside Lieutenant Eric for a 6:15 kickoff. And the NBA has 4 games, with the Heat throwing it down with the Celtics, the Bulls tipping off with the Nets, the Timberwolves taking on the Lakers, and the Hawks facing the Pelicans. Rod Maver, former Stamps kicker, on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubish for your sports update.
Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Hockey lives at the Canadian Brewhouse. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. Plus, you can win game tickets and a surf and turf dinner for 2 at the end of the season. Full details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
In life, it takes a village. From childhood to your golden years, we all need support. At Capital Care Foundation, we've built that village for our 2,100 seniors. Join us in creating a nurturing environment that feels like home and fosters community connections. Your donation makes a difference. Visit capitalcarefoundation.net today and become a vital part of our village. Because together, we can make every stage of life a shared journey. Be a part of the journey. Support Capital Care Foundation.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website, edmontonsportstalk.com.
Welcome back, EST Afternoons. Hernan, Salas, Joaquin, Gage, Zach to come in the house. Reed Wilkins, Jay Milne coming up from 3 to 6. They will have Mark Kilam on the show, 3:20, so make sure to tune in for that, as that's going to be another great conversation. We're going to continue the Mark Kilam talk here. As the presser got us all pumped up. Seems like love the emotion, getting emotional. Love that he's not afraid to show that. Love what he said about, he's going to make the city proud with the grit and the hard work and it just everything about him. I love the personality was just what really stood out to me. So Mark Kilam named the new head coach of the Edmonton Elks. Weird to see a guy who spent 20 years in Calgary don the green and gold, but it's going to be absolutely awesome. And someone who played for him and wrote an opinion piece on 3 Down Nation, I think it was last week, former CFL punter, Calgary Stampeder, Rob Maver joins us now on EST Afternoons. Rob, how you doing today?
I am doing very well. Thank you for having me today.
Awesome stuff. I was reading your opinion on CFL coaching free agent Mark Kilam, definition of a football leader. What more can you tell us about Mark Kilam? Rob, you played for him for 10 years or something like that. And just what was your experience dealing with Mark Kilam? What can you tell Elks fans?
How much time you got? The one thing I will say is that I'm going to be a fan of you guys now.
Nice.
As somebody who spent 10 years with the Stampeders, Calgary might be upset with me for saying that, but you have such a passionate, such a dedicated, such a principled man leading that locker room now. He's the kind of coach that'll expect the most out of you, and you'll be frustrated with him. And he's also the coach that's going to lift you up and give you a hug, when you need it too. He's a fantastic leader. I was bitter when they let him go, and I'm really excited to see what success he brings to the Elks franchise.
What is there's always growth with individuals, especially coaches. Sometimes they're like teachers in a sense that can have such a huge impact on your life, even away from the game and how you approach different things. What are the types of qualities that Kilam installed in you as a player that you've adapted into your life now?
That's a good question, because he's one of the people who is most influential on my football career and also my business career now that I've moved on from football. But the one thing that I would say is with him, it was never about the player. Or, when you have a group of players together, a locker room, it was never about the player, but it was more so about the standard and what the team was trying to achieve together. So, I wrote about this in my piece, but one of the things was, it might seem like the smallest of tasks, but he made sure that everybody, all 12 guys on the field, knew exactly what they were doing, why that was so important, and how that affected all the other 11 people on the field with you. So, definitely accountability and understanding what success looked like from every single position on every single play. And I lean on that today. So, even I go into a meeting or I have a client call, I find myself thinking, hey, what are we trying to get out of this? And do we know why we're each doing what we're looking to do? So we can create that alignment today. So from a football standpoint, everybody's going to know exactly what they're trying to achieve. They're going to know why. They're going to know what it looks like. And they're going to be coached how to perform their job on that play from their position. So everybody's just humming on that snap. And that's going to happen, 80 to 90 times every game.
Rob, there's questions surrounding Mark Kilam. He's coming in 20 years with the Stampeders, mostly as a special teams coordinator, defensive assistant the last couple of years there as well. Can you see him now? He's in charge of the whole group, right? He's the go-to guy and all that. Can you just talk about how he can handle that? Of never doing it before, but being a positions coach, it looks like he had to beat on the whole team. He said special teams. I pretty much know all the players because at one point, some of these guys will all play on special teams. But how do you see him as becoming the main guy and a leader to lead the green and gold back to hopefully some playoff success?
You guys are going to have success. There's no maybe about that with Mark Kilam. The special teams coach is the only person in the organization other than the GM who speaks to everybody. We did our special teams meetings in training camp. A lot of the times the quarterbacks would be there. Other than that, you would everybody who was in a practice jersey would be in the special teams room. So not only is he used to talking to special teams guys, but he was working with offensive and defensive guys all at once. The other thing I would say too is a lot of what being a head coach is about is culture. And then on game day, it's really about managing situational football, in my opinion. So when you get in that 3 minute, when you get in those precarious special team situations, do you understand, how the offense can serve special teams and defense and vice versa with the other two sides of the ball? And these are things that we went through all the time, like a few days into training camp, we would be doing special situations, dedicating practice periods to that. We talk about it in meetings. When this happens, this is what we do and why. And all of those situations are deeply intertwined with special teams. You can't, you have to factor that side of the ball. So he speaks to the whole room. He's been doing that for the last 14 years. And the game calling and whatnot. He has a very deep understanding of that. Mm-hmm. Every single head coach has a growing curve, but we're not going to see a Matt Eberflus not calling a timeout with 22 seconds left, 26 seconds left, whatever that was. He's been around the game for a very long time, and he's been coaching all three sides of the ball for the last 14 years. So he's more than capable of doing this job. And I applaud Morris and Hervey for making this brilliant hire.
Rob, is it possible for you to, I always like to hear some stories. Is there one particular story that stands out in your mind of an experience with Kilam that you could share with us? Or is there too many?
I could write a book. I got to think about what he'd be willing to share.
Yeah, I guess so. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, so I guess I'm going to go back to that accountability piece. So the last year that I played, Janarian Grant, who is still wreaking hell for punters and kickers across the league. So we were playing in Winnipeg, and I didn't have a good game. Our cover teams didn't either. And it wasn't an attack on me the next day on rundown. It was just, this kick wasn't good enough. This was the hang time. This was the distance. This cover player didn't do that. And I was as low as I'd been, and I was in my 10th year. And it felt really strange for me to play that poorly and to feel that down in the dumps as I did. And he called me out in front of the whole team for what the standard was. And then the next game we played against Montreal, and they didn't get anything on return units that day. And, he gave me a big lift up that next week, which was, he knew that I needed to earn that pat on the back, but when I performed, he gave it to me. Or even how he managed Rene. Rene is going to go down as a Hall of Fame kicker in this league. But, when he'd make the game-winning kicks, it was great. This is what our guy does. And if he missed a kick or two, it was, hey, he's going to come back. There's some stories in between there. He would always start off the season having the special teams guys over to his place for barbecue chicken. So if you guys have him on, at 3:20, make sure you ask him about what hella chicken is and whether or not he's going to give you the recipe for that, because it's insanely good. Those barbecues are always a lot of fun. Special teams meetings are always a lot of fun. I always have memories of him sprinting down the sideline after a big special teams play, just getting all fired up, his black hair trailing behind him, and his play calls just hanging on to the belt clip by a thread. Energy, passion, excitement. There's going to be a lot to look forward to at Commonwealth this year.
Yeah, and he showed that all today, and a great head of hair there. We were already raving about the flow there for Mark Kilam. Rob, you retired in 2019 after 10 years in the CFL. What can you tell us? What are you up to now? Where are you living? Are you still up here?
Yeah, I stayed in Alberta. I would never go back to Ontario. Sorry, not sorry. I work in the mortgage world, so we lend money in Ontario and Alberta. We do a lot of business out of Edmonton, so I was just joking with some of my colleagues, hey, I think we got to find a reason to do more business trips up to Edmonton. But work with mortgage brokers. We do short-term mortgage lending, and the business world is great. I tell that to a lot of guys, too, when they're on the back nine of their career. Hey, if you want to chat about how you can set yourself up for after football and how do you reconcile that identity change from being a football player to a business person or whatever it is you wind up doing, life's an awesome thing. You just gotta figure out how to attack it next.
Well, Rob, thank you so much for taking the time today. I reached out to Justin Dunk, who we both know. I was like, I want to get Rob Maver on because they're going to hire Mark Kilam. So great stuff. Thank you for sharing all your experiences and friendship and relationship with Coach Mark Kilam. And next time you're up in Edmonton, hit us up, and the first one's on us, man.
Hey, definitely. I'll be there this year, and like I said, I'll be rooting for your guys' success, and I'm really excited. I watched the Morris presser and then the Hervey presser, and now Kilam. There's a lot of energy and a lot of fire.
Yes.
And it'll be fun to watch that translate to the field.
Great stuff, Rob. All the best, and I'm sure we'll chat soon. That was Rob Maver, former Calgary Stampeders punter, played for Kilam for 10 seasons. He retired in 2019. Great stuff. He Rob loves this guy.
Yeah,
the way he talked about him. That's amazing. And I was seeing Alex Singleton, who played for the Stampeders with the Broncos now. I think Mark McDaniel, who played for the Stamps years ago. Just the positivity around this guy is just amazing.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's good. It's always cool to hear some of the stories of, having a certain coach, what happened, those types of things. It doesn't always even have to be football. Like he mentioned, I'm more interested in this chicken recipe all of a sudden now. So
what did you call it? Hella?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well, let Reed know so he can ask.
Yeah. Maybe we heard about your chicken. Let's get some recipes going here.
We're always looking for recipes. So, quickly, did you see the brawls in college football?
Yes.
That was crazy, eh?
Well, fans don't go out and put flags in the...
No, it was a player.
Oh, was it a player? Okay.
Yeah.
But I saw some fans with flags, too, and trying to...
Well, players got to stop... fans got to stop running on the damn field.
Yeah, what's going on, man? You got to... Whatever. I
know Michigan, Ohio was really bad.
It's
too.
very disrespectful to do that. If you're, I'm kind of fine with you doing it, but expect
to throw down.
Yeah. Them's fighting words. You're going into the other team's building and do it at home. That's fine.
Yeah.
Right. That's your place. But I don't know. Where was the first team to kind of do that? It reminds me of that old, was it the 49ers Cowboys game?
Oh, yeah,
Terrell Owens was doing it, and then Emmett Smith came back and took it back, and then
he did
Terrell
it again.
tried to do it again and got hit.
I think their safety Teague
came and nailed him and
stuff.
I mean, it's great football watching and stuff. But yeah, with the other fans on the field and stuff. Whatever.
And tonight, Monday Night Football, the 3-8 Cleveland Browns taking on Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos, who've become a fun team to watch, Gage. I never thought I'd say that, but go hang out with LT Century Casino, Fort Road for Monday Night Football. The special is the loaded burger. Did you see the hit on Trevor Lawrence by Aziz Al-Shire?
Yeah.
Dirty, eh? And then chaos. And
Very dirty.
He put out a statement apologizing, saying that it was like he didn't know he was sliding until the last minute and things happened so quickly. And but it created quite the brawl as well. You never want to see a quarterback down like that because he was out. You can tell, he went.
You're in such a weird position. Like, it is happening. It's easy to say watching on TV, but one Mississippi, two, you can kind of judge that he's going to slide a little bit.
Yeah.
But then again, when you see a quarterback juke and jive, all of a sudden, like, he looks like, if he fakes like he's going to slide and then stays up, that's when
because you're trying to you want to hit the guy as hard as you can, cleanly,
of course,
right? Like it's such a quick play though, and. Yeah, fans were throwing stuff at him as he was walking off the field. It was crazy, Gage.
I did like the Josh Allen touchdown with the broken play.
Yeah, that was terrible. The Niners suck. Well, and McCaffrey's having such a good game in the snow. Like I think he was averaging 8 yards per carry.
I love that snow.
And then just goes down on his own, and you can see in the replay, like, his calf kind of burst, and then his knee buckles, and it sounds like it's a PCL. So he's probably done for the year. The Niners are done too. They need a miracle now to get back in this one, but it's just unfortunate. Anything else NFL stand out to you? Not really, eh?
No,
it was kind of a boring Sunday.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the game tonight, and also there's a hockey game tonight that's on Prime. That's
Austin Matthews.
A little interesting to me. So Chicago Leafs. I mean, the Leafs should win, but. Bedard in town, only 5 goals on the year. He's still leading the team in points, but very not what you would expect from Connor Bedard at this stage of the season. That's for sure.
No. Let's get Zach in here. We haven't chatted with him all afternoon. How you doing, my friend? How was your weekend?
No, I'm doing good. It was a normal weekend, watching sports, just hanging out. The Oilers win, like 2 of them.
It's always good.
It's always a good time. You guys were talking about how in the NFL it wasn't really that exciting. The one game that I was watching, which I was surprised it was exciting, was my Seahawks.
Yeah.
It was weird the way that they came back. Like, the Jets kind of put it on a platter for them. They got so many penalties there right at the end. They had 12 penalties in the game.
Wow.
And in the second half, they just kept taking penalty after penalty. And it was like 3rd and short, and they went for like a throw. They caught it, then there was a penalty. It came back. They remade the play, and eventually the Seahawks did win, but they just barely etched past the Jets, they're still going to be rolling with Aaron Rodgers, which is insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's a mess there too. There's a lot of teams in this league that are a complete mess. The New York Giants, the New York Jets, the Chicago Bears.
Oh yeah. I don't understand the Aaron Rodgers project here. I think it's
like, move on.
It's time to put that thing to bed.
Yeah.
He's just. I mean, he's not Aaron Rodgers from before. Yeah, the way the team is, you might as well go in a completely different direction. And he's a distraction, man. Not in a good way. Sometimes having, your big dog deflect is okay.
Yeah.
Like he takes some of the brunt, but in this case. It's not positive what Aaron Rodgers does. Like, the looks he gives people, the way he treats the coaching staff. Like, it's not the role that you want from your leadership group.
No.
Not teaching young guys anything good.
No, it seems like he's just there for himself, kind of. Like, I'll just play it out. Bronco Nick says, Ryan Day started the Ohio State fiasco when he initiated the investigation of Michigan last year. Sure. That was a hell of a series, though.
Yeah, that was good.
That was really, really good. And here it says, Rip City Step says, Kasperi's dad played defense and wing later in his career. Just saying. There might be an opening on the back end for the Oilers if they run out of forward room, right, Gagers?
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens there. All right, coming up next, we'll wrap up EST Afternoons for this Monday. Keep hitting that thumbs up. We're only about 26 away from 100. Let's finish strong here in the last 20 minutes as we get you set up for the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Malin. They will have Elks head coach Mark Kilam at 3:20, so that's going to be a great conversation. And they got a gift here that they're probably going to open on air.
It's I can't wait to see what that is.
That's pretty cool. Our Nasty's never disappoint. All right, hit the thumbs up. We're back to close out EST Afternoons here next. Joaquin, Gage, Hernan, Salas. But first up, Zach with a sports update.
There's 3 games in the NHL, seeing the Devils battle the Rangers, the Stars match up with the Hockey Club, and the Blackhawks face the Maple Leafs. Oilers prospect Bo Akey has been named to Team Canada's 2025 World Junior Selection Camp roster, with Canada's first game going down on Boxing Day against Finland. And it's a Browns and Broncos for Monday Night Football action, where you can join Lieutenant Eric down at the Center Casino Sports Bar and Lounge on Fort Road for 6:15 kickoff. Elsewhere, the Lakers hit the court with the Timberwolves, the Pelicans meet the Hawks, the Heat play the Celtics, and the Nets go at it with the Bulls for 4 games in the association. Just after the break, it's the final segment of EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
You could set up your Christmas tree in the last available spot in the house, or you can create the space you need with Sentinel Storage. Get the most out of Christmas. Shop Canadian, store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free. Visit sentinelstorage.ca.
It's 2:43. Welcome back to EST Afternoons. Final segment on this Monday. It's been going good today, Gage. People are fired up. I don't know if they're fired up because of Mark Kilam, fired up because the Oilers are on a heater, 3-game heater.
Wow.
They're fired up Pod Colson. Fired up for tonight's Monday Night Football game. Fired up because it sounds like the Blue Jays will have the biggest bid for Juan Soto.
It's probably just Christmas.
Yeah, or you're in the Christmas tree. You know, a Christmas tree does put me in a good mood.
Does it?
Yeah, when you turn on the lights, because it gets dark so damn early.
Yeah, I think there's like 8 Christmas trees in my house. It's amazing. Wreaths everywhere. Candles, Christmas candles. It smells like frankincense and myrrh.
I love it. I truly do. I love Christmas music too.
Yeah, oh yeah, I have that on. It's nice to have the background.
Just puts you in a good mood.
Yeah, you know, it's well, after all our shows are done and things, it's nice to go on YouTube and put on a Christmas, like a walk through a Christmas European city with snow falling or whatever with the music.
Great. Or just a fireplace.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you'll crackle the fireplace.
Just calms me down.
Well, Deaky Sparks, referring to my question I asked, Gage, you answered that puzzle question like like he got you to ask it. Great question. But the real question is, can the Scuderia claim the constructors this weekend? I thought it had no chance until that 10-second stop and go with Lando Norris there. Zach Brown doing his best. Toto, no, Mikey, no. Yeah, that was a puzzling penalty to Lando, and really kind of opened the door to have a very intense, I think, final race of the season where the constructors can go to either Ferrari or McLaren, which is pretty cool. And also, I did show you too the driver standings, the battle for second place between Charles and Lando. Lando's at 349, Charles at 341. So big weekend. Still, I love being able to end F1 with still stuff to play for.
Are you like sad it's going to be the last
Oh
one?
God,
yeah.
I love it, man.
How's the off season for F1? There is movement, but there's not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one seat left. You kind of it doesn't really get, huh?
Where's the seat?
A VB car, or whatever. Red Bull's AlphaTauri, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's dead until probably about end of January, and then you start hearing some rumblings. And the I guess this year they're going to present all the cars together at once.
Oh, nice!
So that you'll get to see them all.
What do they call that in February? Is it Prague? No,
it's a livery or whatever of all their cars that they.
No, but then they start practicing, don't they?
Yeah, so they'll go back east. I think it's like, is Abu Dhabi the first one? I forget.
Barcelona? No,
I don't. Or maybe it might be someplace different. But yeah, they go for testing for a couple weeks of testing, and then that's when you see like the cars with all those like big wind rakes on the back, and they're trying to get all the aerodynamics right. I mean, this will be the last year with these types of cars too. And as you saw, they're performing quite well. The reliability issues of these cars is crazy. But like I said, it's going to be neat to see some drivers in different cars. And number one, just after hearing what Lewis Hamilton had to say and saying he's not fast anymore, kind of pretty much down in the dumps. It was pretty bad. His whole overall performance and the performance of that car. But I can't wait to see him at Ferrari.
Bronco Nick says testing in Barcelona. That's the word.
Okay. Testing is in Barcelona.
He also says the constructors might have been decided with Sainz punctured tire, lost a few points because of it.
So either the FIA just wants the last race to mean something and did well. I mean, it is a penalty. You can't speed through the yellow flag zones, and Lando did do that. So,
but we don't know who's going to be the second Red Bull driver yet. There's speculation, but we don't know.
Yeah, if you read today, it sounds like Christian's going to go in a different direction, right? So, I think a lot depends on Checo's last race here. He's just been very mediocre, and you look at your partner's performance, like your partner shouldn't be that much ahead of you. I think they want a little. Obviously, Max is on a little bit different level than most drivers, but you want Checo to be battling for podiums too, not battling for 10th place.
No, he's fallen off quite a bit, Gage.
Huge.
Check this out. 29 years ago today, after being led in for 9 goals in an 11-1 loss to Detroit, Patrick Raw tells Canadians head coach Mario Tremblay that he's done in Montreal.
Dusty's the worst day of Dusty's life. that game and that day, because he was off to dominate for the next.
Oh man, what a wagon that team was!
Jesus, that was a good team. It was scary how good that team was.
Sakic, Forsberg, Hayduk, Tanguay, and then you had
Foot,
Blake, Olsen-Lynch,
DeVries, my buddy. It's funny, Greg DeVries. He told me this story, and this is back in the day where there wasn't much direct deposit. Like I think they left your check in your like stall or whatever. But he had Sandis Olsen-Lynch's pay stub.
Yeah,
and it was ridiculous. Like his 2 weeks was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was somewhere I want to say like $850,000, like his 2 week. And so I guess they went out to a bar.
Yeah.
And I think they were in New York, and they came out of this place with a lot of people. And there was this guy, and he was all puffy chested and stuff. And he goes, Greg was sitting there waiting for a car or a taxi. And the guy came over and said something about how much money he made. And this is my taxi. I could buy you, or who do you think you are, whatever. And Greg having Sandus Olszenich's pay stub in his pocket still because he just wanted to show it. And he goes, well, this is what I made in the last 2 weeks. And the guy goes, that's your cap.
Yeah, that team was a wagon.
Yeah.
And then they had like the Mike Keens of the world.
Oh, yeah. They were just.
Claude Lemieux.
Yeah. Have you ever watched that series, the Detroit, Colorado?
No.
The battle series? I think it's a 30 for 30. It's really good.
Yeah,
they hated each other. Those were great games.
Great games.
Great games. But yeah, Sakic, Forsberg, they were just. It was too dominant. And then I remember the one year that Korea and Solani went there, and I don't think they even made the playoffs.
No, I don't think they did.
Yeah.
Oilers back in action tomorrow, 8 o'clock start here in Edmonton as they're in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights. The Oil Stream pregame show. I know Tommy's on location. I don't want to get it wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's at BP's Westgate. If not, someone will let me know. But we'll be on at 7, and then we'll do a nice late post-game show. See if the Oilers can pick up their 4th win of the season. Looks like Zach Hyman is good to go, according to people down at practice in Vegas. I'm going to do one last scroll through Twitter and see if there's any quotes from Knobloch, because that'd be a big addition to the lineup. Would you move Kapanen off the top line if Hyman's ready to go? Hernan says yes. Gager says no. Zach, are you're the tiebreaker here. I'll ask you again, my friend. If Zach Hyman is good to go, do you put him back with McDavid and Nuge, or do you leave Kapanen there?
I think you have to leave Kapanen there for now. Just let Hyman kind of roll back into the lineup a little bit. I mean, it'll shift during the game anyway, as it usually does. He'll be on the power play. He'll get those minutes. So just keep Kapanen where he is. He's kind of on fire right now. He's rolling a little bit and has that chemistry with the line he's with now. So why shake it up?
I don't like Zach anymore.
Well, you don't like me either. Maybe let's get a new host, Zach. This guy's done.
Let's get him out.
You don't mess with a winning streak, man. You don't mess with a winning streak.
No, I guess so.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
The rose goes in front. You breathe through your eyelids.
But it's Zachary Martin Hyman, guys.
Stop it.
Ian Rappaport reporting now that Christian McCaffrey is in fact dealing with a PCL injury. It's a 6-week recovery. It was just announced by head coach Kyle Shanahan. And
what a disaster!
What a disaster of a season!
Yeah,
but you know what I think happened? Like they went to the Super Bowl again, lost, and we're talking about a hangover. I just think it crushed them because they knew that was the year to do it.
Yeah,
and then you have Brandon Ayuk holding out for most of the training camp. You had Trent Williams, your all-star left tackle, holding out. Do you know what I mean, Gage? Or Deebo Samuel's more worried about dancing in his outfits than he is playing football.
No.
Because it's true.
It's true.
And the defense is especially now without Nick Bosa, it's not a good defense. They have a lot of injuries. No excuses, but it's a tough pill to swallow to see the Seahawks there and the Cardinals doing better and the Rams doing better. Like the Niners, who knows where they go from here. But Hacksaw did say, you're crazy if you're trying to fire that coach.
Yeah, no.
But I look at a lot of the media from San Fran, who are overly negative, and it sounds like they hate the team. They're saying, like, they have to consider it at least. Like, has his time run out? You went to 2 Super Bowls, you didn't win them, and a lot of what went wrong in the Super Bowls were his decisions.
It was yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe they're not.
I don't really know. Are you doing a parlay for tonight? No,
not tonight.
You're keeping it safe.
Yeah, just reading this too. The Winter Soldier, Alex Ovechkin skated today. Jesus.
God, I love that guy.
Wow, what's he made out of? Carbon fiber? Jesus.
He likes the vodka. Well, what do you eat in, like, what's like in Russia? Is it like what's that, like something to eat regularly? Like
I don't know what we ate there. I don't know what kind of food it was. It was very greasy. A lot of fish.
A lot of fish?
Yeah, like there was but the there was so much caviar. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like they had tons and tons of caviar. They must have sturgeons just all over the place there. But a lot of vodka. Like I remember sitting, like we were Team Canada. We went on 2 tours going around Russia playing all the club teams. Went to one restaurant. It was so weird. And this old couple was sitting next to us, and we were kind of team meal, like at a big table. And I looked over, and the waitress just like came by, didn't even look at them, and put a whole bottle of vodka on the table. And it was like it had the Russian, like it looked fancy. And they had 2 glasses, and they just cheersed and drank the shots, put it down, and I didn't look at them for a while. I looked back, the bottle was half gone. I'm like, Jesus. And then by the end of the meal, I looked back, and as they were leaving, that whole bottle of vodka was dusted. And I was like, how are these guys even functioning right now?
Oh, boy. Yeah,
that's awesome. It's a good performance.
Smitty the Welder says, how about Trent Williams and his wife losing their twins? That's 2 Niners that have lost children. Yeah, Javarius Ward, too. He just came back yesterday after the sudden passing of his daughter as well. So yeah, it's been a tough year in that sense as well. Like a lot of tragic losses for a few players there, and that affects you too, of course. Like you go back to play a game, Gage, and it's just not the same, right? So,
yeah.
It's a tough go for the San Francisco 49ers. So Chris Knobloch updated us. We'll decide that tomorrow, he says, when asked about Zach Hyman.
Yeah, no.
So there's no rush.
I'll be very interested to see the deployment of the players for tomorrow's game. Hey, do you think that, Brad Marchand was named to the roster? He's one of the 6 players that were named. Do you think would you have Brad Marchand still on them?
Like he's in your bottom 6. There's no way he's in the top. But with these teams, Gage, like we talk about the top 6, all the lines are amazing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So, like, I don't like breaking it down like we do for, like, a normal NHL team because it's different.
Yeah, your 4th line is going to be a first line on most NHL teams.
Exactly. Right? So, I don't mind him. I think he still has a lot to give. He's a leader, too. I think he'll keep that room light. He's pretty funny. You see the shot he took at Biz?
Oh, it was fantastic. Unbelievable. The quickness to come up with that at that time.
Yeah.
What do you say? I want to look like one of the guys that beat the wheels off you.
This has been
so good.
Yeah, we'll find. So tomorrow we'll try to get a Vegas guest on for sure. We'll do heat and smoke. We'll do our forward lines. Joaquin, Zach, and I will pick our forward lines for the Nations Cup. We already picked our defensemen and our goalies, and we'll see how close we are to the real team that gets announced on Wednesday. And it's going to be a fun show. It's an Oiler game day. Weather's getting nicer. Edmonton, good news all over it. 3 wins for the Oilers. Going for their 4th tomorrow night. The Edmonton Elks announced Mark Kilam as their new head coach. They got their GM, their president, and their head coach now. We await news on Trey Ford, and hopefully we'll see what happens with the coaching staff going forward. I think that's going to take some time, though. But big shout-out to Ed Hervey, GM of the Elks, who joined us. Rob Maver, former Calgary Stampeder, 2-time Grey Cup champ, who played 10 years for Mark Kilam. And Matthew Iwanyk, who brought the heat, as always. We're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios here in the west end of the city. Up next, Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. For Joaquin, Gage, and Zach, I'm Hernan Salas. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the messages and the thumbs up. We'll chat tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ciao.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.